Hello everyone, my name is Holly and welcome back to BookTube's favorite tag, the mid-year freak-out book tag, where we take a look back at what we've read so far this year and also look forward to our future reading plans, what's been good or what's been bad, and what we're excited about, all that good stuff. So my video might be the most boring out of the bunch because I haven't really kept track of stats or anything. I haven't even logged all the books that I've read on Goodreads yet, so if I'm being transparent, I'm not sure how many books I've read this year. I know I'm a mess. I think I've read around 23. I'm trying to make reading as fun and chill as possible and not like homework and a place without stress. Throughout the year, I have tried multiple reading methods and I've enjoyed all of them, but the one I stuck to the most was my daily reading goal of 50 pages. I haven't stuck to it religiously by any means. There are definitely a couple blank months, but it's the most motivating and easy one for my current brain power. I made a whole video about it if you want to check it out. I know some of you implemented it into your own reading routine, which is really cool. I've seen like your aesthetically pleasing charts and I've really enjoyed seeing them. But I do have enough info to answer all of these questions. But before we get into them, I want to thank Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video and being a big supporter of this channel and saving me the time to look stylish without breaking the bank. If you don't know who Ana Luisa is, they are a carbon neutral online jewelry brand filled to the brim with beautiful pieces that are intuitive and simple, from necklaces, rings, bracelets, earrings. They have it all. Their mission is to enjoy and celebrate the beauty of Earth without leaving a trace by offsetting 100% of their carbon emissions. So whether you're looking for a gift for a friend, a loved one, or even perk yourself up with some bling, Ana Luisa is a great place to shop. And if you need some help choosing some jewelry, I definitely have my recommendations, like the ones I am wearing today. First piece I love is actually this necklace that I'm wearing. It's called Sienna Mother of Pearl. I am so certain that this square pendant necklace is the final piece you need to complete your everyday wardrobe because it definitely completes mine. It's dipped in a layer of 14K gold and features a mother of pearl stone beneath a star symbol. The gold and white I think really stand out together and they don't clash too much, and it's one of my favorites. Okay, so this is called Rowena and it's one of their more dainty girly pieces because it features these little golden flowers, but they aren't like pendants like the last necklace. They are inlaid within the chain. I love it. It's not bulky but still noticeable, and they also have a bracelet just like this that you can pair it with, and honestly so freaking cute. And to top off this gold look, as you can tell, I like gold way more than silver. I highly recommend this bracelet that I'm wearing that is super unique and feeds my inner creepy side just because it kind of looks like bones linked together. It's supposed to imitate bamboo, but my brain immediately went to bones. This is a cuff bracelet so it fits all sizes and you could wear it alone or pair it with the necklaces I mentioned previously. And that's what's really great about Ana Luisa is you can pair pretty much anything from their selection and it always looks great. So if you want your own set of sustainable jewelry, their pieces start at $39 and you can get 10% off with my discount code HollyHearts10, and they are always having sales like their summer sale right now. Everything will be linked down below for you. Once again, discount code HollyHearts10. Thank you again, Ana Luisa, for working with me today. Okay, so let's begin with this book tag. Question 1 is, what's the best book you have read so far in 2022? So for the first time ever, I can actually narrow this down to 1 or 2 books because I really haven't found many 5-star reads this year, which is unfortunate. That's a reader's worst nightmare. So I'm only going to talk about one today. It was actually the very first book I read this year, so all the way back in early January, in more happier times. And I feel like this happened last year where the first book I read was also a favorite, so if I could keep this tradition going, that would be pretty great. Anyways, it was The Justice of Kings. I love this book so much, even though it was a different style of fantasy book than I'm used to. It just checkmarked all of the boxes for me. The way we follow Helena and Vonwald as they take on the mystery of a murder reminded me of being in like a fantastical Sherlock Holmes novel, but way more brutal while still feeling cozy. Honestly, one hell of a feat. The character development is insane. Everyone is so understandably flawed. You feel like you know them. And the writing is so detailed. The world is painted perfectly into your imagination. I could literally see the gritty, muddy city the murder mystery takes place in very clearly. In fact, this novel looks at justice and vengeance, right and wrong, in a really interesting way with the use of a cool magic system. I cannot wait for the sequel. Totally dying to get my hands on it. I do have another 5-star read, but it actually fits a question later on. So let's move on to question 2. What is the best sequel you have read so far this year? And it's a super easy answer for me this year. That's going to be The Hunger of the Gods. This is the sequel to The Shadow of the Gods. This is part of John Gwynn's new ongoing series that is Norse inspired. As you can probably see behind me, I am a big John Gwynn fan, as with every SFF booktuber seems like. Honestly, one of my favorite things about this book is John Gwynn includes a previously on in the beginning as a quick summary to what happened in book 1, which helps even more when the sequel takes place like a day later after the ending of book 1, and there's not like a time jump or anything. It really helps to get right back into the action when you know what happened. More books honestly should include a quick summary of past installments of the series, because seriously it will motivate me more to continue series. Anyways, this was my most anticipated book of the year, and when I saw its length, I was like, holy smokes, that's going to take me a very long time to finish. But it didn't. Gwyn does such a fantastic job of building a complex world with many moving parts, yet his chapters and prose are short and quick and making it such an easy read. And even all the side characters get a chance to shine, which is really rare to find in a book. The women in the series are all badasses and written very, very well. This one also gets very emotional, which is what I like to call a Gwyn trend. He knows how to drop your heart to your stomach, that's for sure. The series is a great starting place for those looking to try some epic fantasy. It doesn't connect with the Faithful and the Fallen series. It's its own story, and a great one at that. I know the finale to the series is going to destroy me. Question 3 is, what is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to? There are quite a few, and I could talk your ear off about all of them, but I decided to go with In the Shadow of Lightning, which I hope to get to soon. I just haven't had the chance to start it yet. There are way too many books I need to prioritize right now, but this is getting really great reviews so far, which isn't surprising, so it's making me want to jump into it even more. It's the first entry to a brand new series. The magic system sounds really cool. It's essentially split between special glass jewelry that augments the wearer's abilities and people gifted with the ability to control glass. But apparently it can cause people to either rot or become mad, so there's a consequence. Sounds absolutely fascinating. I've only read one other book by this author, so it's hard to really know what to expect still, but hopefully we'll find out soon. Number 4 is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? There are so many. Like, I'm so excited about like 20 of them. I do monthly book releases videos, so I'm very aware of what's coming out in the future months, which is both a blessing and a curse. I get to be excited and overwhelmed at the same time because wow, there are so many amazing books coming out in the second half. Those fall releases are looking fantastic. This is clearly impossible to just narrow down to one book, so I have a few. So of course we have Babel by R.F. Kuang, who wrote the Poppy War series. It's highly anticipated by every single book lover alive. I started reading it on my Kindle actually because I do have an e-arc, but man, it just feels like a story that I want to read physically. And I know that might sound snobby, but it makes sense because what I've read so far is incredible, but I want to immerse myself as much as possible, especially with it being like a academia focused story. So I might wait for my pre-order to get here before continuing. It's actually not a long wait. I believe it comes out next month. So yeah, I'm very excited for that one. And the next book that is one of my most anticipated releases is the first binding, which I clearly own, so I can jump into it anytime, but it's still a future release I'm very pumped for, so I figured that I'd include it. It's the setup for a long-going series and quite a big setup, I might add, since this is almost 1,000 pages. I don't read many of those. I believe it's supposed to have like a Name of the Wind approach to it, where it follows the storyteller as he recounts his life story. I believe it jumps back and forth between past and present, really fleshing out that story. I've seen so many give this book 5 stars, so definitely highly anticipated. I hope it has a lot of adventure and deep connecting characters. Super hype. And the last book I want to mention I can't wait for is a space opera sci-fi that is The Stars Undying. This is the first to a series, and it's inspired by the lives of Cleopatra and Julius Caesar, which sounds so cool. I'd love to hear more twisty retellings on that side of history, and to have one in space so exciting. Also, I just love landscape covers, and this is one, so all around a book I can't wait to get my hands on. What was your biggest disappointing book so far? I could have chosen a lot of books for this question, but I decided to go with the most popular one, and that is Book of Nights. This is probably on a lot of lists for this answer specifically. Holly Black's books, though not my cup of tea, are normally really solid still and fleshed out at least, but the story here felt really unstable. I actually have a whole video about this book, which you can check out if you want. I go way more in depth on why I just didn't think it worked, and it was just incredibly hyped, which made the fall all the more harder. I guess my advice to Holly Black is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Question 6 is, what was your most surprising book so far? And I'm actually going to go with, this was kind of random, Veil of Spears. This is the 3rd book in the Shattered Sand series. It marks the halfway point in the series, so I went into it thinking the story might start to lose its steam and excitement, and then maybe like pick back up around book 5, because there's a total of 6 books. But nope, I loved this book and didn't expect it to be as moving and important to the story as it was. I still need to read the last 2 books. I've been really slacking. It's so hard to find the balance between reading older books and new releases. But yeah, the book begins with twists and ends with even more twists. I can't recommend this series enough. Every book so far has stood out on its own, and now I need to finish the final 2, which are both kind of short. So why am I struggling? Question 7, who's your favorite new author, debut, or new to you? This is going to be a recent one. Actually, the last book that I finished, which I can't wait to talk about in a review, so I'm going to skip the line and talk about it now. I just finished Daughter of Redwinter and absolutely loved it. It reminded me so much of The Justice of Kings, which is just one of the many reasons I found it so great. It also gave me Witcher vibes a little bit, and I know this author has another older trilogy called The Raven's Mark. That trilogy has been recommended to me quite a few times throughout my many years on YouTube, and now I am even more keen on checking it out after reading this. So yeah, I am very happy to finally have this author under my belt. It gives me an idea on what I can expect from his previous books, and I think they could be potential favorites too. Who is your new fictional crush? Nope. Question 8, you are not getting me this year. Moving on to question 9, who is your newest favorite character? Now that I can answer. And I have to go with the entire group we follow in the Bladed Faith. If I could find a group of characters like this in real life, I would be pretty set. I like to describe this book as medieval superheroes and also Final Fantasy. And if you've ever played a Final Fantasy game, then you know the friendships are going to be really strong. And they truly were here. Each character goes through so much, and yet they have each other and lift each other up to save the kingdom that is in turmoil. I especially love the main character and the vulnerability he felt. He always thinks he's not enough or questions if what he's doing is the right thing or not, but friendship keeps him going. It's really lovely. That seems to be a theme in a lot of this author's books, so if you're looking for that, here you go. Question 10 is, what books made you cry? Definitely nothing has made me have physical tears. That's incredibly hard to do for me when it comes to books, because I just don't get emotionally attached like how other readers can. I wish I could, trust me, because I'm sure your enjoyment for stories is even stronger, but I do have a book that made me really sad. So I've continued my Rob J. Hayes' journey earlier this year and read Never Die Finally. This book is phenomenal. It reads in a very simple way, but under it all, it's freaking genius. It's a standalone fantasy novel, but it is part of a series, but they are all considered standalones. The premise is that a boy is given a quest by a death god to kill the immensely powerful emperor. To do this, though, he must recruit a team of heroes, but the catch is they have to be dead for him to do so. So there's your setup for one hell of an emotional ride, and it never slows until its final moments. And of course, humor is sprinkled throughout to allow a lot of lighter moments, but dang it, it's still so sad. I see myself rereading this one if I feel like destroying my feelings. Also, it's just like a phenomenal story. Question 11, what is one book that made you happy? I wasn't sure if I had a good book for this prompt because I do read a lot of darker fantasy, but I actually do, and that is The Psalm for the Wild Built. Though it's a short book, it cracks quite a punch, happily, I might add. I did read this on a total whim, expecting it to be maybe more on the humorous side, but it was so cozy and warm. It really paints this beautiful picture of technology and simplicity coinciding and having respect for everything living and not. We follow two characters who stumble upon each other. We have Mosscap, who is a sensitive robot who just wants to marvel at the beauty of the world, and then Dex, who is incredibly relatable. All Dex wants to do is find purpose in the world, find their happiness, and just to be content with their life choices. This is for sure a pick-me-up book to read when life is getting tough and you just need something to put a smile on your face and also to remind yourself that everything's gonna be okay. Number 12 is, what is the most beautiful book you have bought or received so far this year? This question is a personal attack because Orbit Books, my favorite publisher, does amazing covers every time, so I'm going to throw up a few. The first one is The Ballad of Perilous Graves. This is set in a fantastical New Orleans setting. Yellow spines, or just like covers in general, are so underrated, and the bright colors just fit this whole story so well. Plus the map is in full color and takes place as the in papers, so when you're reading it's much easier to flip over to the map. Just a like really handsome book overall. And Kaiki is also incredibly beautiful. It's honestly its own runway show. The jewelry here is embellished and shiny. I think they did a fantastic job designing these two books. Finally, question 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I'm only going to mention one here because it's the only book I have promised myself and committed to reading in 2022, and that is Theft of Swords. Oh yeah, this is going to happen. I'm feeling August actually. In fact, I might actually have an August TBR going up because of this book. Or maybe I shouldn't, and this is the only book that should be on my August TBR. There is no reason for me not to like this. It has all the classic fantasy elements. Elves, dwarves, orcs, wizards, kind of a chosen one trope happening, a strong friendship at its forefront, a bit of a heist plot, I think. I'm really hyped about it. So many people love this series, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. It's a bit of a cult classic, I think, but it's happening soon. Okay, so that is my mid-year freakout book tag 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me down below some of your favorite books that you've read so far this year and what future releases you're excited about, because I would love to know. I'll be down there in the comments responding. Before you go, don't forget to check out that Ana Luisa offer. Use my code HollyHearts10 to get a discount on beautiful sustainable jewelry. Like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't, and until we meet again, happy reading.